Hey guys, what's up? It's Tony here, and today's video is to do with Talking Changes, the charity I talked about last week that are going to help me with some things and a bit of counselling, that sort of thing. However, they sent me a questionnaire to do, and I thought, well, it'd be fun to discuss with you guys the questions and answers on that questionnaire and just discuss openly about it. Not 100% openly, I'm sure, about some things because as I'm not ready to cover certain subjects, but mainly good things. So, Talking Changes, yeah. So it's a charity based up here, up in Durham, Northumberland, I think, and Sunderland, I believe. And they offer free counselling up to 10 sessions for whatever you want. And yeah, so they've recommended I do CBT or cognitive, I can never say that word, behavioural therapy. And the first step was to ask me a lot of questions about stuff and make sure the service was right for me and what I hope to get out of it and stuff. And the phone call was supposed to be half an hour. It lasted 50 minutes and I was walking around outside. I'd done 6,000 steps. That's almost 3 miles of walking while on the phone to them. That's how long it took. And my hands were very sore. But that's never mind. So, I don't know, is the right word play along? You can play along if you want to at home. I'm going to read the questions and then give them an answer. I don't know if playing along is the right word or whatever, but never mind. So, here we go. So, the first set of questions are, over the last 2 weeks, how often have you been bothered by any of the following problems? I could hold it here, would be a lot easier, but that would block my face and then you'd be sad. So, over the last 2 weeks, how have you been bothered by any of the following problems? And you can score it on a 0. Not at all. 1, several days. 2, more than half the days. Or 3, nearly every day. So, a scale of 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. I prefer 1, 2, 3, 4, but that's just me. I wouldn't have a 0, but that is me. I don't know what the score thing is. It's just a box, so I don't know how bad the score's supposed to be. Did you score mainly 1s or 2s or 3s? I don't know, but here we go. So, number 1. Over the last 2 weeks, how often have you been bothered by the following problems? Little interest or pleasure in doing things. That is nearly every day at number 3. Bloody hell, yes. Interest has definitely been one, I would say, and pleasure definitely one. I've noticed in myself that this has been a big change since I've started this recent episode, whatever you want to call it, of depression, and the worst it's ever been. Well, not the worst, but pretty bad. I've noticed a lot of lack in interest and definitely getting pleasure out of stuff, so it's whatever. 2, feeling down, depressed or hopeless. Bloody hell, let's go for a 3. Nearly every bloody day. Feeling down, yes, that is daily over the past 2 weeks. I'm discounting this week. Bearing in mind, I'm discounting this week because I've put a lot of steps into place. So we're going for the previous weeks before that one. So, yeah, depressed, yes. And hopeless, yeah, that's normally how I feel anyway. So, yep, that was a 3 as well. Trouble falling or staying asleep or sleeping too much. 3 again. Yeah, all of them. I was just like, yeah, I cover all of them. With me, it's trouble staying asleep. However, since these antidepressants, it's now trouble falling asleep, which is a bit weird how it's swapped. So I don't know why that is. Number 4, feeling tired or having little energy most days. Yeah, that's probably the only one that's different since... well, actually, I'm going to go for number 2. I'm going to go more than half the days because I'm not always tired. However, since these antidepressants, bloody hell, yes, that is full on. Poor appetite or overeating. Yes, I can clarify that. Yes, that's been a problem for me. I'm really struggling to not eat the wrong word, but eat a lot lately, and I'm not as hungry as I used to be. Again, since I've started these tablets, it has changed a little bit, but yeah. Feeling bad about yourself or that you're a failure have let yourself or your family down. If you watch my last videos, you will know that that's nearly every day. I constantly feel bad about myself. I always think I'm a failure, and there's people I feel like I failed out there and they've had apologies. There's people that I failed out there that have led to bigger issues that I wasn't expecting. I always feel like I let other people down. That is one thing I'm really going to work on because, you know, I'm one of them type of people who will say, they don't need someone like me. Why would they want someone like me? Why would they need someone like me? The question is, they don't need someone like me. The question is, should I want someone like me or whatever? So that's a mindset change that needs to happen. Troubles concentrating on things such as reading the newspaper or watching television. This is a big one that's been happening. I've noticed over the past couple of months is the fact that my nights seem to have little direction now. Like literally, I could sit and just stare at YouTube. I'm not really doing anything, clicking the same links over and over again. Steam, just looking through the same pages all the time. TV, like I've noticed I tend to record stuff now, watch it live anymore because it means I can just watch it at my own leisure, and I could watch half an episode of something and then just stop. Same as music. Like I listen to Spotify and skip the end of every single song I'm sort of watching, or listening to. So yeah, that's kind of a thing. Moving or speaking, so I'm gonna say 3 again. Moving or speaking so slowly that other people could have noticed, or the opposite, being so fidgety and restless. That's just me anyway, so I don't think people would have realized. So I said 2 on that one. Thoughts that you would be better off dead or for hurting yourself in some ways of 3. Over the past couple of weeks, yes, that's how it all started, and that's when I realized I need to get help, is when I was thinking about killing myself again. So that's a 3. So that was mainly 3s. I scored highly on there. The only things that weren't 3 is probably feeling tired, a little energy, and moving or speaking rest. That's probably only 2 out of the 9 questions. So don't know where you scored on that one. I don't know if what I'm saying is normal, or there is certain things that I should be thinking of. So yeah. So over the last 2 weeks, how often have you been bothered by any of the following problems? Not at all. Several days, more than half, and then every day it's the same scoring system. So 1, feeling nervous, anxious, or on edge. 3, I've been nervous about certain decisions I've had to make, certain things I've had to speak about. Anxious, yes, quite a lot. On edge, yeah, I'm going to agree that that's nearly every single day. Again, with excluding this week, because this week's been a bit different. Not being able to stop or control worrying. Again, 3. Mindfulness is helping with that a lot, though. So that score should change. And it'll be interesting to do this survey maybe in another 2 or 3 weeks, I think, and see what the scores are. Worrying too much about different things. Yeah, 3. Trouble relaxing. Now, that's something I don't have problems with. I never, ever have had problems relaxing. I can relax. I can procrastinate. I'm good at that. That's one thing I'm good at. So I'm going to say several days, because not always, but mainly I'm pretty good at that. Being so restless, it's hard to sit still. 3. I'm rubbish at sitting still. My boss describes me as being antsy. I just get up. I'm not that good at just sitting there. I'm terrible at it, but that's just me anyway. So anyway, becoming easily annoyed or irritable. Yes, I've noticed that, again, probably a sign of the depression is that that's been happening quite a lot. Feeling afraid is something awful might happen. I'm going to say for that more than half of the days. Not every day, but quite often. No, I'm going to change that to 3. That worries me a lot that something bad's going to happen. So, yeah. So again, quite mainly 3s again. But they do kind of repeat what we've been talking about. So, we next have a 0 to 8 scale. So, would not avoid it would be a 0, and always avoid it would be an 8, and then slightly avoid it would be 2. You get the score. So, social situations due to fear of being embarrassed or making a fool of myself. No, would not avoid it. That's just me anyway. I am that sort of person. I'm quite happy to make a fool of myself or be embarrassed. It happens a lot. I'm one of them people that go, can you remember that awkward moment when, or yeah, can you remember when you did that, or that's kind of embarrassing when you did that. That's just me. That's never going to change. So that was a 2. Certain situations because of a fear of having a panic attack or other distressing symptoms such as a loss of bladder control, vomit or dizziness. No, never. That's never happened to me. I would never say I've had a panic attack or any other distressing symptoms. No, that's definitely a 0 for me. And finally, certain situations because of fear of particular objects or activities, such as animals, heights, sea, and blood, being in confined spaces, driving or flying. No, again, that's not me. So they were all 0s. I presume that's about anxiety. I would say I have anxiety, and after reading up on it, I would agree, but I don't have that side of how how it manifests. So yeah, that's an interesting one. The next ones are about work. That's not interesting. So, people's problems often affect their ability to do certain day-to-day tasks in their lives. To rate your problems, look at each section and determine the scale provide how much problems impairs your ability to carry out the activity. This is where it's going to get tough, and we're going to be covering some tough subjects. Joys. All right. Same scale. 0 to 8. Work. It doesn't tell me what about work. It just says work. So has it affected me slightly? Not at all. Slightly, definitely, markedly, or very severely. I cannot work now. I would say with my job, my depression and anxiety hasn't really affected it. That's because my job generally is quite a, I'm going to say you kind of by yourself quite a lot, so there's no one to pick up on it. And when you're doing certain tasks, yes, there might be people around you, but they don't know what you like anyway, so they would never not notice that. And quite often, I'm there as a trainer to give information to someone, and they need to learn from that. I'm quite good at just getting on, giving the message across to them that I need to. So I'm going to say, work-wise, probably not really, but I do a lot of driving for work, and I did notice the other week that my distraction while driving was ridiculous. Like, I almost ran a few red lights. I wasn't noticing things. That was where it's maybe affected me more, but driving's driving. It's not really work. So I'm going to say slightly on that. Slightly maybe affected me because I've been a bit down and not putting as much into it as I maybe want to at times, but it doesn't really affect, I would say. Home management, cleaning, tidying, shopping, cooking, looking after home, children, paying bills, etc. Mouthful. Again, I'm pretty tidy. I'm just letting everyone stop laughing there who knows me. Yeah, I'm a little bit messy. I will agree with that. Tidy, though, I would say that I'm clean, and I do like to clean kitchen, bathroom, that sort of things. Yes, I might leave a knife on the bench or whatever, but that's just because I'm too laid back to care. Like, so what? That knife will still be there in the morning. I'll deal with it in the morning. I'm not bothered about going to bed with a sink full of dishes. That doesn't bother me at all. So again, I wouldn't really say that it's affected me. I probably have been a little bit more messy than normal. Shopping, no, never. Cleaning, no, I'm usually quite tidy anyway. Cooking maybe. I haven't been cooking as much. I've been doing more basic stuff, so maybe we could put that in. So I'm going to say slightly. I can't say definitely, so slightly I would say that. Social leisure activities. So this is with other people, parties, pubs, outings, entertainment, etc. Don't really do that anyway. But is that because depression's been such a long running thing that I've kind of got out of that loop? I don't know. But again, I guess it hasn't really affected, but I don't really do much of it anyway. So, private leisure activities. Now, good job they put clarification on this one, because I was like, private leisure activities. What do I get up to in my home? They could be affected, but it means stuff like done alone. That doesn't help. Reading, gardening, sewing, hobbies, walking, etc. I would say, I'm going to say it probably has affected me on this one. Gaming, I've kind of noticed that I've stopped gaming as much as I used to. Sewing, I've never sewn in my life. Hobbies-wise, gaming probably is one of my major hobbies, so I've noticed that. Walking. Ghost hunting's one thing I do, but I had to pull out of it the other week because my mind just wasn't good enough. So I would say it definitely has affected that. Yes, private leisure activities that are done alone, it has affected. And final question, family and relationships. Let's chuck that on there. Yes. I would mark that down as an 8. This couldn't have affected my life any less if it tried, and it really affected a lot of relationships and probably my family as well. I've got a family, but my family as in sisters, brothers, parents, that sort of thing, that it kind of has affected it in a lot of ways like that. And that's one thing I do want to work on. Because of, and this is where I kind of have to be careful, and I don't want to talk about too much, but because of probably my relationship with my mum and the way I felt that I was treated as a child, which is along the lines of I never quite felt loved, I never had that hugs, I never had that love and arm around me, that I kind of, relationship-wise, tend to, if a girl or anyone shows me, you can see this is getting harder to speak about, shows me that side of that proudness, that love and arm around me when I need it, I either run a mile or kind of friend zone them, because I don't know how to deal with it, because I didn't get that or felt as if I got that when I was a child. So the girls I've kind of picked have been those that haven't been there emotionally for me as such, because I can find it easier to deal with. And emotional support is something that I've kind of come to realize that I kind of need in a girl, and it's what I've always needed. And because I'm just don't know how to deal with emotional support once it's offered, generally, as a rule of thumb, and obviously there's exceptions to that, I go for people who don't really support me, and then they come in out of life quickly or wrongly, or cause more problems, I guess. Family wise, yeah, it's definitely affected my relationship with probably my mum and my siblings because of that. And I'm not going to go into details, but having a conversation with my stepdad about this, it was kind of brought home that how I felt is how it happened and is how it came about. So yeah, I mean, it's difficult to speak about because obviously there's one person in this that is going to be affected by what you speak about when you talk about family relationships, and other people who are going to be affected by it. It's not to say that anyone in the past hasn't offered that I've been with or whatever, but they're definitely lacking in that, and anyone who has offered that, I've kind of ran because I have no idea how to deal with them. So I would say the depression and anxiety, yes, has affected it, but it's that core issue of how I felt as a child, that loneliness, getting bullied through school, having to be moved schools quite a lot due to house moves and stuff, that I find it very hard to form relationships with anyone because I'm used to them just being taken away from me. And, I'd make a set of friends and have to move, make a set of friends and move again. And therefore, I'm quite easily able to rule someone out my life pretty easily. Doesn't matter how close I am to them. I can just go, bye, and walk away. And I'm quite easy at doing that. And I don't like that. I don't like the fact that I am so cutthroat about it. But it's because of them childhood experiences that formed me into this person like that. And it is kind of fucked up, I guess, that's how I see people. And I don't have many close people in my life. The amount of close people I have is very, very small. Some people go on and go, oh, I've got thousands of friends, blah, blah. No. I can probably count them on one hand. There are true friends out there and true people who, who would be there for me throughout anything. And it's kind of one of the things I really need to work on is the fact that I do need to start bringing people into lives. I need to start running away if someone offers me that proudness, that support, that love that clearly I was lacking as a child. And I need to embrace it and enjoy it and kind of go with it. And luckily luckily is the wrong word. Due to recent circumstances, I've kind of realized now what I'm after in life. I've been shown what I don't want in life anymore. And, it's kind of shown me really how maybe I've treated people in the past and why I've treated them like I have and why I've been treated like I have as well. Because now I've seen things from different points of view, etc. So yeah, this depression, anxiety, whatever, childhood issues, core issues. The core issue for me, I think, is that side of things, and it is that not getting that feeling of love when you're a child, that sort of thing. And the example of, I remember when, and it's going to be coming in a later video, when my granddad died, I shed one tear. And that was the day after a 5-year relationship ended. That day. That night, the first night I'd ever slept alone in 5 years, and my granddad died, and I shed one tear. And that I can put back to my childhood of being shouted. If I cried, I got shouted at. It was, it's not my mum's fault. That's just how she dealt with them situations. That's how she showed she cared. She was worried about us getting hurt. Instead of that love and embrace and arm around us, it was very much a shouting one, just because she didn't want to see us getting hurt. But it kind of made me not want to cry and not want to show emotions, because I'm going to get shouted at. And it's little things like that I need to address and look on. And it's something that I'm hoping to get out of this. So to wrap things up, yes, the end of this course should ask what I want. And I said, what do I want from this? I just want to be a happier, better me. I don't want dark thoughts. I don't want to think about killing myself. I don't want to think about suicide. I don't want to think all these things. I don't want to be a person that runs away from someone who's loving and so forth towards me. I don't want to be that person anymore. I want to be a better Tony. I want to be a better me. And who am I doing it for? Nobody. I'm doing it for me. And that's all that matters in life. And it's that I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing it for anyone else. And when she asked, why haven't you killed yourself yet? In not so many words, just the fact I won't let depression win. I never will. It doesn't matter how many times I plan and think about killing myself, I never would, because depression isn't going to beat me. Because at the end of the day, there's something better out there for me. I know there is. There's something, there's a better life somewhere. I will get there, and I will aim for it, and I'm going towards that better life. And I'm not gonna kill myself because of that, and especially not now. If we said 4 weeks ago, who is stopping you from killing yourself? That is me only. That's it. That's the only thing I've got to live for, is me. Now, after coming out about this and talking about it, the reasons I haven't got to kill myself have increased tenfold. I've got support from real life, support from Twitter, support from strangers, support from loved ones. And that is fantastic. If that's what keeps me going and gets me through this, that is great. And that was the whole point of doing this. So I just think, it's not just me who needs to speak. People need to speak and talk about this more openly, and think about things and seek help when you need it. It's out there. It's there. It's possible to get it, and just think about it. And that's all I have to say. Yes, it's tough to talk about these sort of things, but just think about it. And I hope you've enjoyed the video anyway, and I will see you all later. Catch you later. Goodbye.